Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's short video tutorial. This will be bot number 60 in Deception and Countermeasures in the Xiangqi opening. This is bot number 60 that is based on the free ebook that is available on the World Xiangqi Federation website. The book is part of a trilogy that has been hailed as one of the most important books on Xiangqi opening for the past 3 decades. So without further ado, let us begin the bot. Again, this will be a pawn versus thundering cannon opening system discussion. In the previous bot, c2 equals to 5 was played. Another commonly played variation would be to play e7 plus 5, whereby red will choose to consolidate his defense and lessen the pressure that this cannon might place on this file. Now, compared to the central cannon, this would be a less proactive counter. Instead, red will be more concerned with consolidating his defense before trying to attack. And this opening is very commonly seen on the internet, and actually in my experience I've seen more people play the elephant opening than the central cannon, which requires much more skill in my personal opinion. So after playing the elephant, black would choose to develop his chariot or his right flank with the 3-step tiger, and the chariot is now out, threatening to capture the cannon. And in this board, red will choose to take the advantage to push his horse to the riverbank. Now, in this situation, it is recommended for red to play r9 equals to 8, but this variation is beyond the scope of this video tutorial. And once the red horse had reached the riverbank, to prevent capture of the black central pawn, black would choose to protect it with h8 plus 7, thereby achieving the single horse defense formation. Red will now prepare to play r9 equals to 8 to protect this cannon and allow this cannon or this flank to be mobilized. As seeing that the horse did not have any good place to move, black would usually play r2 plus 4, hoping to play r2 equals 4 for the next move and thus chase the horse away or dislodge the horse from the riverbank, thereby gaining some tempo. Now this is actually a trap by red. I've played black before many times, and this is usually what I do, but it seems that in this board there's a very sneaky trap, and at this point in time, this red would forcefully sacrifice the pawn, threatening to capture the chariot. I fell to this red's opening trap several times alone in the past year, and I keep forgetting that red can play this position or play this opening trap as black. So this would be the position of discussion. This would be the deceptive move, whereby red would threaten to capture the chariot by sacrificing the pawn. So there were two main variations that were discussed in the board. The first would be r2 equals to 3 would be a seemingly normal move to make. The second variation would be r2 plus 1, whereby black would actually let the pawn cross the river. So we shall see the pros and cons of each variation. If r2 equals to 3 were played, which would be a seemingly natural move to make, red will start his attack immediately with c8 equals to 5, targeting black's cannon rank. By jamming the cannon at this position, red would threaten to capture the black horse. And usually black will counter with e7 plus 5 to block the cannons from doing mischief. And at this point in time, red will now start his attack with h6 plus 8, threatening to capture the cannon. and forcing the cannon away. Now, it would not be a good idea to try to protect this cannon by retreating the horse, because this cannon will be up to more mischief. By advancing one intersection, the elephant will be blocked, and now red will still be able to threaten to capture the black horse. And the only way to protect or to save this horse would be to retreat the cannon c3 minus 1. So although it would seem that red had lost some initiative by advancing the cannon twice, this would be compensated by black forcing black to move the cannon backwards also. And once this move was made, red will immediately play r1 plus 1, enticing black to capture the horse. By making this move, the chariot will now be prepared to play r1 equals to 6 and attack this advisor. Black will usually retreat his horse, and red will concentrate more material on this board, threatening to gain material now. So that is why h7 minus 5 is not a good idea. So usually c3 equals to 4 is played, and black would also continue with c8 plus 1 to block the elephant and threaten to capture the horse. Now, black is usually forced to make this move out of desperation. Retreating the horse in this manner would of course not be ideal, because red will simply continue and to chase the horse, and the cannon will now block the horse, and thus black will lose material. So that is why h1 minus 3 is the only viable move to try to save the horse. But as can be seen, black's position is now very cramped and awkward, whereas red would have concentrated 3 pieces targeting this flank. So red will continue with h8 plus 9, threatening to capture the black horse again and go for the elbow horse checkmate. Now black will be forced to play c4 equals to 2, and black will try to gain back lost material in this manner. But red would pull his ace out of his sleeve and play c equals to 7. Now this is a very nice move, because if the black cannon captured the red chariot, this would be an immediate checkmate. Now there's some discussion for this position. Okay, what would happen if red played c8 equals to 6 again, threatening to capture the black horse, going for the checkmate. Black will simply play h3 plus 2, and the black cannon will now be still threatening or applying a skewer to these 2 pieces. So red will lose material instead, and black will be freed from his worries for the time being. So that is why r8 equals to 7 will be the correct move to make, forcing black to raise an advisor, so that if in the event of an elbow horse check, the king could move to safety, and red will gladly trade material. Now it would not be a good idea to go for a check, because once the king moved out, the red chariot would now fall, and black would gain the advantage instead. So red will trade horses, and after trading horses, we can see that red would have successfully maneuvered 2 major pieces, attacking this relatively weak flank on black side of the board. And although red had not developed his right flank, this would not be a big issue. If the chariot moved here, they could simply trade material and develop his horse and free the chariot to attack. And anyway, red would have a significant advantage at this point in time. And for interested viewers, the black cannon cannot capture the red pawn, or else the cannon would capture the black cannon instead. So at this point in time, red would have a significant advantage, and a significant material and overall advantage, because now it will be 1, 2, 3, 4 black pieces versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So r2 equals to 3, this was the position of discussion. R2 equals to 3 or variation A is not a good idea, although it would seem to be the natural move to make because black would have a very powerful attack with C8 equals to 5 followed by the horse. The recommended move in this situation to prevent capture of the black chariot would be to play R2 plus 1 instead, whereby black would still keep a pin and threaten the red horse, which has not many places to go. So the recommended move for red would be to play p7 plus 1. So at this point in time, the pawn would have made 3 moves, 1, 2, 3. And it would not be a good idea to try to go for h6 plus 4, threatening the black horse, because black would defend, opt to trade horses. So red would have used up 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to move the red horse, whereas black would only have made 1 move with the horse, and thus red would have lost some momentum. And as can be seen, this is indeed the case because red's right flank was not developed at all, and red would try to salvage the situation, but black would start attacking. So after so much effort, trying to moving a horse, etc., red would not have gained much in this situation. So that is why h6 plus 4 is not a good idea. Now p7 plus 1 to trade material would be a sound move. So at this point in time, black would simply simply accept the trade. It would not be a good idea to try something naughty with c3 equals to 5, hoping to gain material, because the black horse would now charge across the river. This would be a sacrifice on red's part. So capturing the horse, check. Retreating the cannon, which is a very powerful move. Red would have gained an elephant already, and by making this move, the chariot would capture the black cannon and also the black horse. So red would not only have gained back lost material, he would actually be up, gain an advantage in terms of material. So black would be forced to play c2 plus 2 to protect the cannon. It would not be a good idea to play c equals to 3 because, as mentioned earlier, the red chariot will simply capture the black cannon and still threaten to gain more material. Red would have a significant advantage. So if c2 plus 2, black would capture material, black would try to develop his flank, and at this point in time, let us see how many pieces there are left. Black would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, red would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But black would now lack an elephant, and his defense would be very weak at this flank. So red would have the extra flank, red would have extra elephant and an advantage. So r2 equals to 4 to accept the trade would be a no-nonsense move. Red would accept the exchange, and as can be seen, this pawn would have made 1, 2, 3, 4 moves only to be traded away. And at this point in time, red would still enjoy a slight advantage, but as can be seen, black would not have lost any material, his defense is still sound, and red would have his qualms trying to develop this flank, as the black chariot will now be developed very soon. So this would be variation B. Now, according to the book, this position discussion, the opening trap is quite a famous opening trap, and there was a name for it. It is called the Bottle-Gourd cannon. The Bottle-Gourd as in the object that was used to carry water in the past. So a short recap. This will be the position of discussion. And in variation A, black would seem to capture the pawn, as it would be the seeming natural move to make, but he would end up with he would end up in deep trouble because Red would have managed to advance a cannon and a chariot deep into Black's enemy territory, attacking this very weak flank. Instead, the recommended move would be to try to trade material, and after a series of trades, Black's position is still very formidable, and he can be very satisfied with the situation. So I hope you've enjoyed this opening, this board on opening theory, and if you like the work that I've been doing, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.